Buongiorno. My bad. Didn't realise the time, geese. I was painting geese. Yeah, I was. Look, let me remove the. Can you see? Doing a bit of cloud origin, starting the colours. Ooh, got carried away, geese. Completely forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I just didn't realise the time. So, oh, but don't worry. I'm here, geese. I'm here. How you doing, Slim? How you doing, Slim? Oh, I had to go and make me brew as well, didn't I? How you doing, Sugar Christian? Sup, peeps? Got a bloke on X telling me how the Jews done everything at the moment. I like, no, it's the Muslims, mate. 9/11 Jews. Yeah, he's an absolute idiot. So yeah, I got bored. One of them blocked me. How you doing, Gaelic Grace? Hope you're well. You're waiting because I had to go and quickly clean me brushes, make a brew. My bad. Me bad. Yeah, I know. Yep, I know. But it gives people time to get here if they're a bit late. Do you know what I mean? When people are running late. They are Arabica beans, yes. Woohoo! Yep. So I don't know if anyone wants to call in. Whether they want to talk about United Kingdom, anything in politics, the news, whatever it might be, you can request the link and come up. I've got my headphones ready. Yeah, that's Ibrahimkov's not too bad. Colombians, very strong. Arabica beans, sort of mediocre, I would say. How you doing, Blake Faces? Buongiorno on a no sun Sunday. So it's a day. It's not Sunday. It's gone. How you doing, Nikki? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Look at me surrounded by all these paintings everywhere. I bet you get bored looking at all them, don't you? The camera's a bit, or I mean, that top screen. Try and straighten it up. You know what I mean? Don't you see my dodgy face? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. And that Ryan Bridges arrested, and his colleague was apparently to do some car ramming into someone and getting run over and breaking a leg, and they weren't even there. So it's a very strange one to do with that. Yeah. So strange, so strange. So strange. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. How you doing, Olga? Hope you're well on this glorious no sun Sunday. Thank you very much, Blank Faces. Yes. I've been neglecting them lately. I do miss it. It's where I go live every single day, wasn't it? And where I'm not now, I actually got time. So it's nice because I can chill out and do a bit of painting. Fantasy landscapes. I've got a coral one behind me, but it got damaged. So the wifey put it in the cupboard. Forgot about it. Ooh, coral. I might do another one. I enjoyed doing that. But yeah, that's what Costa Coffee use. Costa Coffee. Well, that's not very good then, is it? I bet that's someone being an idiot, but we shall see. Time will tell. But apparently they were both let go because one of them, he literally had evidence he wasn't even there. So there's a video with him saying, obviously, as what the situation was. So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know the ins and outs and actually nuts and bolts of it. I just know that the one who done the video with the black hair, can't remember his name, but he was saying, like, wasn't even there. He wasn't there. So he was released without charge. But apparently it's to get them both away from said rally. But who knows? Time will tell. Have I missed much? I don't know. Depends. If you're trying to throw a dart at bullseye, then you have missed, yes, because you haven't got any darts or a dartboard. Nice one, Wiz. Shut up. So, yeah. Everybody's from Glasgow. The Glasgow busker. I wonder if he's a busker in Glasgow. Oh, psychic powers. Paisley born, Glasgow raised. Yeah, I was put in Paisley when I was born. Paisley Pan. Oh, you got both? Yeah, me too. I love a bit of darts. Love a bit of darts. Yeah, I'm on a YouTube video somewhere where Phil Taylor's playing and the camera pans and you see my big head where I'm a security. Like you do. Yes, I worked at Alexandra Palace for the World Championships of Darts. Met them all. Michael Van Gerwen. Snake bite. That's Ian Wright. Ian Wright. Come on, Wiz. Wake up, mate. Peter Wright. Yes, I met them all. But yes, it was good. But yeah, this is a call-in show, so I don't know who wants to say what, when, or how. If you want the link, let me know. Got my headphones ready. I can actually angle my laptop, so I can actually paint while I'm talking. And I was like, oh, that'd be good. But yes, there's been a few things going on in there the weekend. The Nakba 78, you know, all those that are pro-Palestine, pro-Islamic terrorism, all that. Yeah, we got all that going on. Crazy stuff. But then we got obviously Raise the Colours, obviously. But yeah, there's nothing else really sort of hitting the headlines, is there, at the moment? Let's be honest. But that's crazy. Something saying 4 alien species. Whatever. Whatever. But yeah, don't know what but yeah, they were saying exactly saying like Charlie Kirk shoot him in the neck. Like, where's the arrests? Where's the arrest? Do you know what I mean? They got to arrest these people. But no. But there's some weird stuff going on in this world. I've got I had some news articles. I don't know, like I'll keep them for thingy. But what was I going to say? Yeah, they were saying regards Tommy Robinson. They were saying, yeah, shoot him in the neck, like Charlie Kirk, like actually shouting out all these different things. So it's very, very, very strange. Like there should have been a lot more arrests. So they were saying that there was more arrests at the Tommy Robinson than there was on the Palestine March. But then there was people that were arrested who weren't associated with either. And I'm like, I bet they're associated with Palestine, but that means more people will be arrested for that than it would for that. So, hey then, Pouncy. I lived in Govan for a few years, but not too far. Ooh. Do you think the far right? I'm not far wrong. Yeah, chilling watching a painting session. Yeah, Bob Ross, but magical. Similar styles, I suppose, to Bob Ross. I'll be honest, but yep, it's terrible. They're chanting away. They had a few different chants that they were doing, which just disgraceful. But that won't be mentioned anywhere. So what's I've not heard. I'm not too sure. I've not heard anything about that. But I don't think Ben Habib wants to do that, though, because obviously then it'd be Rupert Lowe's party, and I don't think he's up for that. Because I think we discussed that a few months back. But yeah, it would be interesting because Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe are very much aligned. It seems to be that way, yes. Anything with a Nakba 78, do what you like. It's very strange. So, the arrests, they've been classed as hate speech, the arrests. That's convenient, isn't it? Especially when they're talking about Tommy Robinson. They love it, don't they? Oh, hate speech, quick hate speech. That's what they're on it all. Of course they are. But let's see. Right, I need to make sure I got the link. If anyone thing, but yeah, they all seem to go unpunished, don't they? It's like we let that go. They don't want to arrest it because do you remember that Mohammed Hijab threatening the police officer, the dog? Oh, you let that dog go, that's an act of aggression. We're going to kill it. And the cop was like, yeah, all right. If that was like Tommy Robinson or a Tommy Robinson supporter on the deck, threats to kill a police officer, you're facing 25 years, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Two-tier policing, all courtesy of two-tier care, isn't it? So I think no, it's more than one at face recognition. I think it's about 8 in the end. Let's see what they come up with the arrests. I was saying dozens. Police make 11 hate crime arrests and crack down on toxic speech at United Kingdom and Nakba rallies. United Kingdom by far right activist. Oh, they got to get that in, haven't they? Tommy Robinson, pro-Palestine Nakba rally. 4,000 police officers. Yes, how many? Police said of the 11 hate crimes, 2 were Nakba protesters and 9 were the United Kingdom march. 7 other hate crime offences remain under investigation with outstanding suspects, police said. One of the arrests at the Nakba protest was for support for a prescribed organisation. Well, they're saying like out of the 11, 9 United Kingdom. This is the standard. That's different from what I read earlier. So they say 43 arrests made during 2 rival London protests on Saturday, including 11 hate crime related. 20 of the 43 were from United Kingdom, apparently. And they said 12 are from the pro-Palestine, the pro-Islam, pro-Islamic terrorism, weirdos. And a further 11 not linked to any group, which they probably were. So that would be 23 against 20. And there's a hell of a lot more United Kingdom people. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, 11 arrests, which were to do with hate, but 43 in total. So, but yeah, they're saying 20 arrested at the United Kingdom, 12 at the pro-Palestine Nakba Day March, and 11 were not linked to either group. But I reckon they were. So I reckon it probably more. There's less people at the Nakba Day March, but there's more. Because they were even on stage giving it all that, weren't they? Going, oh, not so many turned out at UTK, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's a bloody good turnout. But a lot of it is to do with probably the cost of living. People can't blooming afford it. So I will all. They nasty them less from what I saw. Yeah, what they were saying is disgraceful. So, yeah, Dan Whitten's on it. He's on it. So, but no, I don't think I couldn't find anything. So, yeah, I may say one thing, but you're right because you're on that side. So, all right, Slimmeroonie, will do. Yes, I did. They're all mine. So, all self-taught. So, yep. I did have one that was sort of more snow, but Phil, who's here, who's moderator, he bought it off me. I was like, oh, that's my favourite one, geese. But he made me an offer, and I was like, okay, you can have it. So, Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened. It went all weird. I tried to get back on and it's all glitched. So I tried to click to end the stream and I thought I'd start it again, but bloomin', I don't know, the internet just went. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't get on. So I checked everything. It seemed all right. I've literally got a booster like right there. Do you know what I mean? I was like, So I don't know what happened yesterday. But to be honest, the views weren't all that, were they? I did see that everyone else had like thousands of people watching, and I think I had between 20 and 30 people. So I suppose it was God telling me to just stop. Yeah. So I think Paul ended up with like 106,000 views. I had like 500. I was like, okay. So I was questioning my whole existence yesterday with that. I was like, that's terrible. I put it up a few days previous, but I mean, Paul's got over 300,000 subscribers. So, but yeah, it's just a bit disheartening, isn't it? When people got like 4,000 people watching and you look and you got like 20 or 30. It's like, all right, it's good. I don't mind in a way because it means I can get through all your chat. So, you know, every cloud. But yeah, I couldn't reconnect. So in the end, I managed to click end stream in the end because otherwise it would have just carried on with a blank screen with my picture that you see behind, you know, behind this bit with that glowing eyeball. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was just a bit annoying. But hello, everyone. I'm late today because I was looking at the different reports from the UTK. It was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it looked really good. So, yeah, you think they would, because if it was anything to do with the UTK, they'd have been on it. And they would have been arrested there and then. So, how you doing, Lisa? Hope you're well on this no sun Sunday. Yeah, I know. Blooming annoying, wasn't it? Blame the internet. Afternoon, Mr. Waffle. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. It's all good. I've been getting oil painting myself. Yeah, I'm not a fan because it takes so long to dry and it's so expensive. So I'll stick to acrylics. Acrylics is much better for me anyway. I mean, the only difference is if you're not going to sell the paintings, do acrylics. If you're going to sell them, you'll get more money for an oil. But they take forever to dry, forever. So I'm not a fan. So I'll stick to acrylics. Yes, I'm a cheapskate. So how you doing, Nathan? Hope you're well on this glorious Sunday. Bobby's in the house. How you doing, Bobby? Hope you're well. Do. I need to get my headphones. So yeah, we'll put a link up so you can call in. Have your say, obviously. You have your say and talk about whichever you want, whatever subject floats your boat. So yeah, I'm open to talk about anything, or unless you want to debate or something, I don't know. So yeah, I posted the link. All good. Yeah, I know. That would have been funny, innit? I'd the lowest of viewers of anyone on a UTK stream, and the police would come and arrest me. That would not surprise me. That's what it was. Invisibility spell. Where? Did he? Yeah, it's really good. I was watching some of him and Paul Thorpe and that as well. So, but I'll tell you, when that band was playing though, is it Ricky Doonahan? Oh my word, that was awful. So terrible. Oh, he got to 700k subscribers. He done well. So yeah, I won't be doing it again. So sometimes real ones don't get the views. I had similar issues. That's why I don't do it. Yeah, I won't do it again. So I'll just leave it to everyone else. Unless if I hit like 10,000 subscribers or something and whatever, then obviously it'd be different. But if it is how it is now, then there's no point. So for the fact that people watching here, they probably have more fun on the other channels because there's more people to talk to. So I ended up jumping on board, but I was looking forward to having a crack with you lots. I know it's annoying. I mean, I've done it. I mean, I wouldn't have just stopped it, but yeah, I did see Alex Armstrong was there. So I can see Slim in the background there. Oh, because hear all the kettle's boiling. He's getting his coffee on. Whee! There he is.
Good afternoon, folk.
How you doing, mate? GB News.
Click.
Bloody internet. Yeah, it was. You shall not pass. I can't believe it. No, it didn't look as big, did it, Waffle? I don't think it did. So.
The coffee du jour.
Very nice, very nice. I wouldn't say I'm an artist, Bobby. I'm self-taught. I like to do it. I create, yes, I suppose, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a professional artist, but because Phil asked me to paint his dog, I've never painted a dog before. I mean, that's my first ever portrait. I thought I'd do me with my beard and my hair, but I thought I'd give it a go. I did try the wife's dad who passed away, but the face looks right. I think it's just a little bit too wide. It should have been a bit slimmer, but oh, I'll give it another go. But what are you saying there? Powder on oil painting. Why would you put powder on an oil painting? Charcoal drawing, but it's messy. Yeah, they can create, can't they? I like photo real pastel chalk ones. They're awesome. Yes, they are. Yeah. Football. Oh yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the scores because I'm hoping Newcastle going to beat West Ham, do Tottenham a favour. Oh, Man United are 1-0 up with Notts Forest. That's good. Yeah, because Tottenham aren't playing Chelsea till Tuesday. So if West Ham lose, that helps if we lose because I think Chelsea are probably going to beat us after they got really annoyed losing to Man City in the FA Cup yesterday. But yes, but precious. Slim has the preciousness. Oh dear. So right, caught up with all this, that, and everything else. Let's have a look at the tables. I'm having a quick look. Yeah, it's Tottenham, West Ham. Oh, that put Notts Forest right near us. 5 points. Oh well, that ain't gonna happen. 2 games left. 6 points. Oh, Notts Forest losing both. We could take over. Oh, okay. Anyway, right, where are we? News, politics, United Kingdom. What's going on, Slim? What would you like to discuss? What is on your mind, sir?
As is always the case, I'd be happy to discuss anything as topical, and even if the proletariat here would like to forward something. But what's topical is the UTK. It all went very smoothly. The weather was decent. There was very little trouble. It was nice to see everybody. So well intended. As you're aware, I was on your channel yesterday watching it. It was nice to see the speakers. I think the music quality was a little bit of a letdown. Well, insofar as the broadcast, anyway, it might have been great on the scene, but insofar as it was put out to the world, it was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. What's it, Ricky Doonan? Oh, it's awful, wasn't it? Olga, I'll just put a big Tottenham in the chat for you. Blooming West Ham. Get out of it. Shut up. But yeah, I cringed, mate, because when I was live streaming it and he come on and the woman was singing, I was just like, oh my word. I turned it down. Everyone in the chat was like, this is awful. So it's all good. How you doing, Bobby?
Hello, fellas. Hey, I hope you're all good, man. Yeah, I just thought, yes, fellas. Slim, Wiz. Yeah, I just thought let me come on and say hello while Slim was getting ready. Let's see what you're doing, Wiz, and all that, and maybe drop some commentary. So much for my comments about Englishmen being musicians and that. Then, hey. I'd say they are Englishmen are such great musicians and stuff. And look what, oh my god. I thought, geez, man, come on, man. We've got so many better singers here and that. Do you know what I mean? Musicians awful. And that.
No, I did say I thought the music quality was pretty poor.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
even
but
gonna find a clip of
the
it.
stream quality, and like just the coverage, the internet coverage and stuff was good. If that makes sense. Like before, like when I tried to view things online and that, it was very difficult to find streams and that in the previous rallies. I mean, I went to all the previous rallies anyway just to check it out. Like I said, I don't live too far from there in Brixton and that. So, but this time I didn't go. Yeah, last time I kind of got to the edge, but I didn't really get in properly. If that makes sense. So, it's,
Yep.
you know, just kind of hung about a bit, checked out a couple of shops, you know, and went home kind of thing. You know, got a bit of food. You know, that was about
Did
it.
you feel the hatred? Could you feel it?
Yeah, no. I had a good time the first couple of times, but I'm gonna be honest. The last time I went did feel, and obviously I know. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Obviously, people have issues with Muslims and Islam and stuff like this, and part of like the sentiment and the feelings includes that, right? So even if I've got issues or I recognize issues within my community, and I'm, let's say, go there to kind of say, look, I'm here for all the problems, free speech, you know, the dangers in society, dodgy people from my community, you know, like I'm here, you know, for all of it, you know what I mean, in a sense, right? Yeah. But the last time I went, yeah, that there was another Gomez lady there. She was a bit over the top for me. Do you know what I mean? Because I did see her on the big screen things, you know, when I was in London. I thought, right, she's got a bit over the top, like, do you know what I mean? I thought it was a little bit more like, yeah, it was a bit more on the harsher side. Like, obviously, for like as a Muslim like myself, that actually has like empathy and sentiment for my English brothers and sisters, you know, in these times of in these kind of dark times and stuff. Do you know what I mean? What's going on everywhere? Do you know what I mean? So I mean, this time I didn't go. I mean, I did want to go as well still, but I wanted to go with people this time. Last time, you know, I kind of like the first time I went with two guys, and the second time I went with one guy, and the third time I went on my own. So then this is the fourth one I didn't go at all, if that makes sense. So yeah, but I wanted to go with 2 or 3 people because I wanted to go and do the camera stuff and that as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, I wanted to kind of, you know, play about with. One of my friends got a GoPro recently and that as well. So I go, look, we should go out there and use it. You know what I mean? Try it out and that. You know,
very controlled. I watched several channels scan them, and a lot of the people were getting started by the police. Stop, start. You know, so I think even if you did take a camera, you wouldn't get much worth seeing. Quite a lot of the channels didn't.
But from what I saw, though, the movement and the walking and that seemed a little bit more easier. But the only thing is, though, look, obviously, like you got the pro-Palestine people as well. They have their grievances and all of that, right, and stuff. The only thing that annoys me, yeah, is that they didn't need to do everything on the same day. Like, you know, like whatever other, like, even though I've got sympathies as well, like with both sides, as you could imagine, right, in a sense, right. But I know that, say, the English side or the right wing side, whatever you want to call it, is being a bit ignored and shut down and censored and a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say? I can kind of see that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Right. So that's, you know, free speech and that is obviously important to me as well in terms of what the so-called right wing, you know, are complaining about, not having free speech. To be able to say things about things they don't like and all of that, right? So obviously the only thing I thought is that why would you have to do it on the same day? Like, obviously as a Muslim, I have sympathies for Palestinians and Muslims as well. I have sympathies for my English brothers and sisters, you know, that I grew up with. All of you guys are cool, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I don't necessarily the people, you know, I see as like being good people or close to me or whatever, even in close in faith or whatever. It's an awkward position for me. But obviously, I'm trying my best in that sense, right? To try ride the wave, right? As it was to say. But look, I just thought it was a bit bad for them to kind of do it on the same day. Like, do you know what I mean? Because these kind of marches and that,
So who do you think should have cancelled the parade?
No, I just think that, like,
who do you think should have said, okay, we'll have ours next week?
Yeah, this is it. But no, obviously I know, let's say like Tommy's side and UTK side that kind of do things once or twice a year. Maybe something in London, maybe something somewhere else. I don't know, you know. They'll do something somewhere else around England or Ireland or something, maybe, yeah. But like it's the fact that there's no need to kind of do that on the same day. It's gonna like overly crowd the place, you know. overly used up. The transport's just going to get overly cramped and used up and stuff like this. And you know, and humans are humans, and you might get confrontations. I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously, look, I know for myself, yeah, with my sympathies with like the wars going on in the Middle East and stuff, yeah. But I know that these kind of people are there almost every week, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You know, because I obviously when I've been around London just to do stuff, I've just seen them there. Do you know what I mean? As well, do you get what I mean? Right? So I'm just like, okay, look, you lot hog up literally every weekend, even though I have sympathies as well, you know, with that side as well. But I go, look, you lot do get a lot of airtime here, like in a sense, right? And then the one time that UTK or the other side are trying to arrange something, everyone's like going nuts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
And then
So
a lot of the victims.
Yeah, that's it, really.
They
So
love,
I mean, yeah,
to claim victimhood, though, don't they?
Yeah. This is it, isn't it? Like that's it's awkward for me because look, even when we were talking, the other stuff we were talking about last time, when we were talking about the left wing and the Green Party and Labour and what they represent in terms of the gender roles and genders, do you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. And then we had those wacky people dancing on stage and that. Like, I can't see myself. Do you know what I mean? Aligning myself with that kind of thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, see,
Obviously,
for me,
Wiz had a good laugh about
see, for me, in my point of view, right, I see it as a regional dispute. I see the whole thing as a bit ridiculous. And to be honest, Farfetch, Free Palestine, I care more about free parking.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of the matter, right? Now,
Yeah.
we could all go into history, talk about 1948, go back to the biblical times,
Of
go
course,
back
of course.
to the Old Testament.
Of course.
We could go back further than that, right? But see now, today, here and now, I think
100%.
we should all be moving beyond that. Especially, this is the thing with the globalists, right? The globalists want a global world. But how can you have a globalist economy while everybody's at each other's throats?
Exactly. So I
in the
think
west of
where I've landed.
Scotland, Bobby, in the west of Scotland, we've got the Protestant Catholic thing still going on, right? We can't even decide what form of Christianity or papery we should have in place, let alone how the Jews and Palestinians go on in the Middle East out there. You know what I mean? The whole thing to me is too far away to care. And it is the case, it's honestly the case. If they put it up for a vote, I'd rather have free parking than a free Palestine.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, this is the thing. Like, I've come to the conclusion of like the best I can do as a normal person, normal human being. You know, I mean, I has normal jobs. I'm not like some super duper MP or some super billionaire or anything like that can actually make any changes to the world. The best I can do is to look out for my country and what's best for my country, which is England and the UK as a whole, before anyone else. You see, as a Muslim, that's where I've landed. Like, whether I have sympathies for Middle East issues, what's going on in Israel and Palestine and stuff, that's fair enough. But again, like I said, it's in a far away, magical, distant land which I've never been to. So, you know, you have to kind of be a bit realistic about that. You know, even as me, as myself, as a Muslim, or even with the emotional ties and connections, you got to think, hold on a minute, I'm British-born Muslim though. I should give more of a shit about what's going on here. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like where I've landed, if that makes sense. Like, I give more of a crap of what's going on here than anywhere else. You know, because it's so easy for us to get dragged into, like, oh yeah, you're Pakistani and look at what's happening in Pakistan. And next week, oh, it's Chechnya and look what's happening in Chechnya. And every week you're feeling like a piece of shit as a Muslim. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hold on a minute, man. Every week there's another Muslim country with a problem. They're making me feel guilty for it. Like, do you know what I mean? You know how like you white guys would be like, oh, they make us feel guilty about all the colonial stuff and all of this thing.
Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Is it because that is black?
Yeah, like, you can call me brown guys. You can call me brown guys.
I identify as a black guy now. Don't you know we can self-identify in Scotland? I am a black female.
That's classic. But I want to know what has Nakba got to do with the UK? Nakba, Palestine, all of it. This is like 1,500 miles away, and we're going, oh yeah, by the way, in 1948, what? It's 2026, mate. Leave it. And
May
the 15th. It was May the 16th.
Free parking.
May the
That's
15th.
exactly
Should have been
what I
Friday.
came to about 5-6 years ago. I thought, you know what? Yeah, this is a bit too far and long gone for me to even bloody talk about it. It's sometimes, you know, you make yourself sound silly about talking about someone else's country, even sometimes. You know what I mean? Right? And you think, fuck
Yeah.
it, man. We could talk about our own country and what we want to do and do here and help here or whatever. Innit? Say the good or bad what we can see with our own eyes and ears here. You know, we can't see what's going on over there or whatever. We're just hearing murmurs off the internet. God knows, you know, the truth. Right? So, I mean, we can only do what's best, what we can do here for ourselves in this country and the people here. And that's why way I see it, man. But yeah, man. But I thought I'd swing by and say
if
hello.
we
I
could
think-
all get along, it would be nice, right? We can't get along.
Oh, yeah, man.
And in fact, see if you look, this is what people have this false view of history. Now, we can't even agree what's happening across the water today, right? But see, when you look back hundreds or thousands of years, there is no chance we can actually know what was actually happening. We've got all this glorified image of history as if this happened, that happened, when the truth is we don't know what happened. That's why it's his story.
But listen, man, they don't even tell us the truth about what happened in the last 50 years. You know, JFK, 9/11. You know, we don't even know the truth about any of this stuff. Do you know, we don't even know the truth about the EU and the Brexit thing. Do you know what I mean? Like what they've actually done with it, and you know.
So the past is so obscure as to be just hidden. It's like even now you mentioned being a brown person or a black person, right? And the whole way that we are supposed to feel bad about the slave trade. Right.
Yeah. But I'm Generation X though. We talk like that a bit.
Now, I mean, I don't feel bad about the slave trade. I've never owned a slave. In fact, I consider myself having been one for the last 40 years. What's the difference between being a slave and having to get up at 5 in the morning and going and work in a horrible, shitty, filthy factory that's left me with disabilities? After all the years, and then they come in the morning and say, "Oh, wait a minute, mate! Well, you've worked yourself into an early grave. You need to get home. We don't want you here any longer."
Yeah, no, I can't.
That's modern day slavery. They don't even have to look after you at night.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that before. Like even the slavery thing and that. Like I said before, I feel like it's built into the money now, and built into interest systems and all. And like you said, as working guys, we've had like tough jobs, like, you know, wherever we work. I don't know, you guys, you know, have done working class jobs as well. I've done it too, you know, working in motor trade and stuff. And you feel it in your heart and your head. You think something's not right, especially when your wages are like half of like everyone else's and stuff like that, and no one tells you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're thinking, oh, what's going on here? Like, and then you can feel something's not right in your heart and in your head, yeah, but you just go along with it anyway. So that's it's like
Yeah, no option. You've got to pay your bills.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? So you know, you just think, hold on, we got, you know, you do this, and it's unsettling. I think, you know, when it's like that. And like I said, look, even if you go out there and you get educated, you go and get a degree, keep your nose clean, you have a clean criminal record, there's still no guarantee you're gonna get like a big career or successful future or jobs and that. Do you see what I mean? It's really bad. I think that's another layer of things, which is slightly going in a different direction here. But I think that's another layer in the economy and the job market where, like, going to university and that in the last 20-25 years has like been pretty much a scam. Like, unless you went to one of the top unis and you went to a private school, then you're gonna have a real good time. Do you know what I mean? Because all my friends went private school.
That very much depends on the course you're taking.
People come looking for them to give them jobs. You know what I mean?
Let's face it, see, even in this day and age, there are people who, irrespective of what they study at university, will come out and get a good job because they're connected to good families or they're connected to good businesses. And there are those who are highly educated and will never get a job because their face, and I quote my own history, face doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I worked in a large factory for a very long time, and as a relatively young man, I was told that I would never achieve any status within the company because my face doesn't fit. What they meant by that was I came from a socio-economic background that was related to a housing estate. And as such, by the higher echelons of a multinational company, I was seen as low life. The fact that I was the top apprentice and was winning prizes every other year and was set forward for company medals and running areas and development and working with the Yanks developing, none of it mattered. I would never be in management. And the people that did go into management, they all came from nice families and they spoke very well. They had a very proper speaking technique, but were empty suits. They had no content. This is what
I found, Slim.
The
people went private.
Clever enough to do what they were told and not clever enough to think for themselves.
And this is what I found, Slim. When I see people from like private school, grammar school, Brit school, they had a way of speaking English, right? Which I noticed. And because they speak English like that, people assume that they're really clever at everything because they kind of use word logic and this kind of method what they're taught in private schools. And if you go to a normal school, they don't teach you all that. But I can kind of turn into that and fake that. When I work for these posh like car showrooms, I can speak like that. I don't know, when I got a suit, I'll go and do it one day, maybe I'll come on the street, right? I just change it to a different person. But that's like Bobby in car showroom mode, trying to sell to the millionaires, you know, luxury cars. Yeah, right? And I'm thinking, hold on, I've got this image, I can speak like this. And we got Rishi Sunak in number flipping 10. Do you see what I mean? I've got like the people in charge of Lambeth, Chuka Almana. I thought, hold on a minute, he's 1 or 2 years only older than me. And this idiot's allowed to run Lambeth years on end. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they give someone like me that opportunity? And I don't turn it into a thing, but with what you said, but with what you said, Slim, about faith and fit, when I used to get told this, I used to think that was racism. But that was more of like a socio-economical type of jibe, you know.
It's racism. Keeps us on doing.
Yeah. So this is why I always even say like the whole racism word is so strange now. It's perverted because that's the feeling. It's like when someone tries to make you feel lesser than. That's racism kind of thing in a sense. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of like blends in with the whole working class thing. So it's hard to distinguish between the two. So a lot of the times when people come from poor, I put a Pakistani.
Words are weapons. They can be used to injure and destroy people. The establishment know that. That's why they have propaganda and spin. That's why they cause division and derision. That's why they put you against me and me against the Protestants and the Catholics and the black people and the yellow people. And then they say, oh no, see them, they done this and they done that. See, while we're at each other's throats. See, while I'm telling you, don't you dare talk about me like that because I identify as a black woman. We will never rise up and we will never stand against them and say, no, this has to stop. If you watch the film V for Vendetta, they marched into London in their masks and they stand outside Westminster and they just stand, they walk forward and they say, no, we will never do that while we are kicking each other in the teeth. It's sad, but it's true. But I tell you what
that was
will
a
happen,
crazy film, that Vendetta.
What will happen? My view of what will happen, at some point, some gentleman will stand on a podium and he'll have fine words and a great oratory and he will have the cattle trucks ready. And when it comes to that point, there will be that man who can rally the people together and say, do you want to be treated like this? Do you want them to crush you, to crush your soul, to crush your life, to tax you into poverty, to give your lands to a foreign state? And he will have the cattle trucks ready. And that pogrom that happened in 1940s Germany, it will seem like a Sunday school party because we've now got millions queued up in this country that so many people just want to leave, and I fear for the future because of it. And there is always that man who will have finances, and he'll have support, and he'll have the media, and he'll have his propaganda, and he will stand there and he will do the old Dulce, rubbing his chin to the masses, and he will say, it is on. And that's what I fear for the future, and that is coming. I know it's coming. It's got to come, because these things are cyclic. Whether it's the guy with a wee moustache, you know, Mussolini giving it the. Now you'll notice that in the past, these people have always been left wing. I know people want to say that the Nazis were right wing, but the Nazis were socialists. They were collectivist socialists. Mussolini, another fascist. Fascist was a left wing ideology. The father of fascism, they called him, but fascism was penned by a leftist, a Marxist. His name was. I'll look it up while I'm talking.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about this. Yeah, but yeah, that's strange as well. Like, that's something obviously I found out in my mid-20s. Yeah, you know that all came.
But these things are cyclic; they go in circles, you know.
But look, fellas, I'm gonna excuse myself for a little while. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, and I'll catch you guys hopefully again. Is that all right? In about 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. Yes, mate.
Yeah,
good.
All right, brothers.
No problem.
All right, I'll be back.
Enjoy. All right, mate. Take it easy. What was I going to say? That Nakba 78, because it's a 78th anniversary. What has that got to do with us? I don't get all these protests, because like I get people are a bit like touchy because the Jews are involved. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's just a bit like, oh yeah, 1948. This. Oh yeah. By the way, they're saying that they had 10 times more people for the Nakba than they did for the Tommy Robinson. They reckon Tommy Robinson was between 60 and 80,000, and they reckon they had 250,000 for the Nakba Palestine rally. That's a bit,
though, isn't it?
Yep, definitely.
I would say that this whole is a foreign imported religious problem that we've got, the Palestinians thing. And as I said, I care about other things far more than I care about that situation out in the Middle East. It's been going on for now at least about 1,700 years. Ever since Dear Muhammad, police be upon him, showed up and said, let's kill a whole whack of Jews. That's where it started, 1,700 years ago or so, right? Or 1,500 years ago in the 7th century. And it's lingered. But any expectation I've got of fixing a problem is non-existent, because, as I said, we have a situation in the west of Scotland where the Protestants and the Catholics like kicking each other in the face every other weekend at a football match, right?
Yeah.
So see joining or getting any unity with other religions, it's just a daydream. And it's a daydream that I don't even entertain, because the whole thing is so fanciful. What there will be, as I said, is more crusades, more wars, more death, and the lingering pain it causes. And it will go on for a long, long time. Forever, in fact. I don't see any out. And it might sound a bit depressing, but where is the final target for these conflicts? Whether it's the Palestinians and it is with the Jews. It's not just with the Israelis, it's with the Jews worldwide. Just in that example, the Arabs out there gave the Three Nose Declaration. Have you heard of the Three Nose Declaration?
Nope.
Well, if you like to look it up and put it on screen, you might find it very, very useful, because it basically dictates where this is going to end, and it's not going to end. No peace with the Jews, basically no suffering of the Jews, and never will they stop fighting with the Jews. It's like, no, no, no. And that is their standing declaration. There can be no peace. That is their standing order.
Can't spell. What do you say? The three no? No.
The three no's declaration.
Oh, declaration. What am I writing?
So there's never going to be an end to it. I'd love to see harmony throughout the planet, but let's face it, it's just not going to happen. And I'll tell you this, having had past experience of trying to deal with people, right, both online and in the real world, I could shift the axis of this planet easier than I could change the opinion of a single person if his mind or her mind is set on a task or set on an idea. I don't think I can change people's opinions. I still trying. A long time ago, I still trying. I discuss things with people, and I can discuss points and topics. But that's why I wouldn't really involve myself in debate, because you've got to prove your point in a debate. And no matter how many facts, how many ideas, how many good points you can push forward in a debate, see somebody that is fixed on a dogma or ideology, they will not sway 1 millimeter from their chosen path. It is pointless.
Is this it? Is that the one?
That's it.
How you doing? Give the gospel of Jesus. Hope you're well. So the Three No's Declaration, also known as a cartoon, sounds like cartoon, issued by Arab leaders after the 67 Six-Day War, stated that no peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, and no negotiations with Israel were acceptable for Arab states. This declaration marked a significant stance against Israel and has been a key part of Arab policy towards Israel until the Yom Kippur War. Well,
that is still a standing declaration.
Well,
yeah. See, if you keep that as something that you looked up for yourself and you managed to find, right? How can you even start to build bridges with people when what they want to do is break down the bridges and throw them back at you as stones? It's just not possible. It's depressing if you actually give too much thought. But you have no chance. You don't even have the first stepping stone to a better future.
yeah. I think after this, I don't get, like, according to the Bible, it's the land of the Jews anyway. So what is it like Islam wants to steal that land, like they stole all the rest of it? I mean, what's the actual plan? Because, like I say, according to the Bible, it's the land of the Jews. Nazareth,
well, despite
Jerusalem,
the fact
whatever.
that the Christians were there first, right, several centuries, the Arabs in the Muslim world see any land ever taken by the Muslims as always Muslim land or Islamic lands. If they have established themselves and have conquered any part of the world, like Spain, it is to that point forward in all of history owned by the Muslims. It's always been Muslim, they say, because they took it once. They showed up in Jerusalem and they fought for it. Now, the fact that the Christians fought back, and it is in fact the case that the Christians didn't set out on a crusade. Well, by the first, second, third, there was about 7 of them in total, but they were defensive posturing by the Christian world. The Arabs and the Muslims had fought their way all the way down to the north of Spain. They were heading towards France. I mean, they were at the border of France before the West fought back. The papacy, in fact, fought back against it and said, "This is going to stop before we're crushed." They were looking at the Moors who had already moved into Sicily and saying, oh, this is getting a bit dire here. And then they put out the call to stop it before Rome fell. They were one wee hop of water away from mainland Italy. Now, this is where I says it depends where you start in history. People talk about Putin, but every one of Putin's speeches takes about 12 and a half hours and starts in the 3rd century BC, where some guy poked somebody's wife in the eye with his finger at a party. And this guy then kicked him in the shin. And this guy, he wasn't happy getting kicked in the shin just because somebody else's wife got poked in the eye. So he headbutted some guy at a party. And that's how these things grow. They start small and they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And centuries later, they'll develop nuclear bombs and they're threatening each other with total annihilation. I mean, if you look at the Christian thing, right? Some guy come along and he was like, oh, hey, gonna no do that. And they were like, what's it got to do with you? He's like, well, I don't like you doing that in a church, a holy place. Gonna no do that, as they say in Glasgow. And they were like, look, mate, what's this guy's name? Jesus. His name's Jesus. Jesus, gonna beat it, get out of your chapel, you know what I mean, man? And then he was like, well, I'm gonna tip your table over, sir. I shall tippeth the tables on you. And this guy, Jesus, he kind of flipped the table and took a huff, right? And then some other group were like, oh, hey, Pontius. That Jesus guy out there, he tipped your tables and scattered their cash on the floor. Did use rude words. And here we are, all these centuries later, after an Inquisition, some crusades, holy wars, holy fightbacks, unholy alliances, and here we are now in the year 2026. Anno Domini, still fighting over it. 2,000 years later. Now tell me, how are we going to fix it? How are we going to fix it? Well, no, we're going to fix it. It's broke. It's broke and it's not getting fixed. And a couple of guys hiding in a corner of the internet talking about fixing it is pointless. We're all doomed. Doomed, I tell you.
That sounds about right. Oh, so basically they're just going to keep dragging it on. But why do they have to bring it into our country? That really bugs me. I've never got my head around the fact that anyone doing any, like they're saying about the Ukraine flag. Reform are like, we'll take that down because we've got Union Jack going up. You know, it's a government building. Yeah, it makes sense to me. And everyone's kicking off. And then there's some Scottish. Have you seen that Scottish trans whatever saying that apparently we got to give Palestine reparations?
Look, I want reparations. I want reparations for the Highland clearances. My family were sent out to Canada and such like to populate Canada, sent to Australia to populate that. Where am I getting mine? They cleared the whole islands and get rid of all the peoples, the McGregors, so that we can cover the land with sheep. I mean, sheep are more important than people. Where's my reparations? We want to give reparations to a bunch of people who were never affected by the slave trade, who just happen to have a slightly darker tone of skin than me, even though I do identify now as a black female. They have a slightly darker complexion than me, and we've got to pay them reparations. Well, if I identify as a black lady, I get reparations, and I don't need to wait for them to give me reparations for Highland clearances. Who gets what and when? The whole thing's a nonsense. A nonsense, I tell you.
If this is a woman, he's actually got like his 9 o'clock shadow going on the face there.
That is
Palestine
really a
don't
boy,
exist, so
isn't it?
trans Indian student elected to Hollywood wants Scottish taxpayers to fund reparations to Palestinians because of their complicity in the occupation of the territory. That can go. That's a crap we got to put up with. It's pathetic, isn't it? It really is. Yes, that's true, Mr. Waffle. Yes. They're going, oh, this and that. Palestinians and Hamas went in slaughtering Israelis, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No sympathy whatsoever. Oh, but because the Jews are involved, we've got to be on the side of Islamic terrorism. Like, no. Shove it up your ass. No. Never. Makes no sense. Just don't get it. So no one deserves anything. War, things happen. But then 5.6 million people in Palestine, 50,000 killed. Genocide! Must be ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and everyone else, and bigotry and straw manning.
It's a genocide. It's a genocide where the population's no larger than it was before the war started.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's good. That's all I get on X. People go, oh, but the genocide. And I'm like, what genocide? 5.6 million people in Palestine. Where's the genocide? You absolute prats. But they ignore it, and that's what Muslims do. They ignore the facts. That Fahima, whatever her name is, she was on Dan Wootton, literally lying out of her backside, just saying, no. Oh, apparently, it was Hezbollah, ISIS, Al Qaeda. That's nothing to do with Islam. And the terrorist attacks that they say are Islam, they're false flags.
Well, this is where propaganda and spin really matters, especially in the modern age when you've got outlets such as this to spread your word, to make it heard, right? If they flood the internet, news media and such like with opinions, people don't actually know what the truth is. I mean, I might never know what the truth is in any subject I talk on, right? I might know what my truth is, but my truth might all be fantasy. And you hear a lot of that for certain left-wing types where they just spout obvious lies because they're so sold on an ideology, or it might be a theocracy they're sold on, but they're so sold and invested in one view, one worldview, they're unwilling to even listen to other people's. Not like a lot of people, I do listen to different views. I listen to left-wing views. Let me assure you, a lot of left-wingers are completely deluded. They are completely insane. They listen to a lot of nonsense and then they twist it and they push lies, clear, obvious lies to sell their notion. It's a great way to do it. It's a great sales technique. It's always worked, isn't it? Buy mine, it'll wash our dish cleaner will wash your dishes once. You'll never need to clean them again. I mean, I'm sure that's been said. You know, I don't believe any of them now.
Well, first thing I've done, as soon as it sort of hit the news and that, I Google it. I try and find decent, like reputable, not mainstream media, but reputable sources, see what's going on, find out the history, get a little bit of knowledge, even though a little bit of knowledge is dangerous, but I wasn't actually using it for anything. It's just so I was on the right side of history because I hate being wrong. But it didn't take like 5 seconds to work out, like, really, let's be honest. October the 7th, straight away, what they'd done, Hamas and Palestine, was wrong. Straight off the bat. They started on October the 7th again to try and genocide the Jews. And guess what? No, we've got to stand against Israel. What?
Yeah, but yet again, you notice that they picked a lot of soft targets.
Yeah, but... And like what Gary said here, though, what about Nigeria? Oh, yeah, but it's no Jews involved, so no one's interested. And that's
well,
actually...
Americans have stepped in Nigeria.
Oh, have they?
Oh, yes. If you check yesterday's news, you'll see that Mr. Trump has sent a contingency in to wipe out a few of the Al Qaeda lot and such like in Nigeria that were doing a lot of these causing a lot of these problems. And he stated that he's going to take steps worldwide to deal with these terrorist organisations.
Yes, I've got a thing here actually. Let me share that. That's definitely just backs up what we're saying, doesn't it, Geese? Yeah, something's got to be done. But it seems to be like people say, "Oh, no Jews, no news." Like that's actually quite true.
That is true.
But I don't get half of what people are coming from. But like, you know, like Nigeria, that is literally Muslims in the name of Allah Akbar or Alan Snack Bar and all that crap. They go around slaughtering people, but why is it not in the news? It makes zero sense. It's quite like this is worse and been ongoing in the world of genocide than the so-called fake Palestine narrative.
Yeah, but you're looking at it through the wrong angle. It's no that. They don't want to show Trump as a good guy doing good things. Donald Trump, honestly, see if he cured cancer tomorrow and brought Jesus back to health and created world peace. They'd say he was causing problems. He's caused division because they don't like Trump. And that's one of the reasons that I find it all so entertaining that Trump keeps doing so well. Despite all the opposition, he just keeps... I mean, they shot his ear off. They shot him in the ear. And he just kept marching forward. They've tried to kill him about 5 times. And does he hide? No, he's out there in public. Fight. No matter what they want to say about Trump, that guy is... I mean... in all of American history, that guy is going to be one of the best presidents they've ever had. It's just, he's irrepressible. What he's doing out there now in Nigeria, he says, okay, look, we're going to, and you brought it up yourself. No, they keep up on the news, right? He's out there and he's basically hammered the Al Qaeda a lot, right? They've all got different names, but they're part of the same organisations that are causing 98% of the world's terrorism. And see, in all honesty, what I says to Bobby earlier about the cattle trucks, right? There is going to be another crusade coming. And see, with several billion in the world now that are following a certain ideology, it is going to be a pogrom. Because there's so many people on that gravy train following the bandwagon. If in times of peace they all say, oh no, we're moderates, well this or that, you know. But see if it comes to the fact that you're going to divide yourself and they've got to go one way or t'other, then that's where the big division comes. We'll find that they pick their side very quickly. And I'm sure Bobby would come on and admit that I even asked him if, in fact, the last time I was on, I asked him if they said that they were kicking the Muslims out, how many people do you think would be happy? And he says about 10%. 1 in 10 would be happy that they could live a free life and make their own choices. Without Islam telling them what to do, I found that a bit surprising. But there is going to come a time where people have had enough. And it'll be global because people are sick of it. And the whole of Europe is swinging right wing. Just like every other, it'll hit a critical mass and then explode. And when it does explode, the potential for harm is so big because there's so many people and so many people being hurt. Well, it's the kids that have been hurt, the churches that have been burnt, the culture that's been destroyed, the cities that have been taken over. There are so many things now that people are going to feel bad about that it will get hot and it will get hot quick. And there's 6% of the population in Britain. They might feel strong and empowered because they're 40% in a couple of big cities, but they're less than 1 in 10, or 1/12 of the population. And as the old saying goes, and we could stride forth like a colossus, trampling them underfoot without breaking our stride.
I hear you. I've nothing really to say on that because, like, you're right. So one day someone will say something, we'll actually have a little debate going, but we all seem to agree, don't we?
Well, we agree because it's obvious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything that's like prophetic. It's becoming obvious to everybody. There's people are tired, people are hurt, and people feel that they've been hard done by because they are being hard done by. Now,
Yeah.
the poor and the huddled have always been hard done by, whether it's slavery, the Highland clearances, or any of the other problems we've had over the years, right? A few people have made decisions that have dictated the lives of millions. And that's always been the case. Whether it be kings, politicians, the rich, the industrialists, the people working in the factory. Things haven't really changed. The only difference is that modern slavery, they don't need to house you, they send you to the factory at night. In Scotland, we had the first supposedly free education in the world, right? Now, people think that's great. We had the Reformation, we had the Enlightenment, we had this, we had that, we had the other. But the Great Enlightenment and the education wasn't there for your benefit. It was there for the benefit of the industrialists. They needed people that could work in these factories and read instructions, read drawings, operate machinery. So they had to be able to read the labels on the machinery. It wasn't for your benefit, it was for theirs. When the spinning jenny came along, they needed somebody to stand and operate that. That might have been a great invention, but it didn't work on its own. They needed people to load it, they needed people to operate it, and they needed people to repair it. That's why they educated the people, because they needed people with education to work in the factories. And me, I'm just factory fodder. I've been factory fodder my whole life. And if the politicians made a different choice, I'd be cannon fodder standing in the front line up to my knees in mud. And they can make that decision.
Yep. I hear you. What do you think would have to happen, if anything, in order for these pro-Palestine, pro-Islamic terrorism, pro-Hamas people to change their minds or to realise they're wrong? Do you think that's realistic, or do you think they're always just going to be on the side they're on?
Well, honestly, I think a great hand would need to strike forth from the cloud. covered in a halo, and the words of the Lord speaking out, "Dear Palestinians, go forth at a rapid rate, stay out of the UK and change thy ways, or we will strike you down." And even then, the great force of thunder and lightning would have to strike them off the face of the planet before they changed their ways. Nothing in heaven or earth is going to change these people when they have been indoctrinated for generations into the hatred of certain groups. Nothing. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
You just have to accept that. But there's one thing that always stops a problem. And people are already aware of it, stops the problem. Every problem and every conflict we have ever had has been fought with weapons. Doesn't matter what time period you look at it, or in any environment. People come along, they use their diplomacy, they use their oratory, they use their love and affection, and then they dig out a sword and stick it in you. Because ultimately, force is the only thing that people will fold to. Well, it's folding up because they've given into an ideology, or folding up because they've spilled their guts in a battlefield. It's through all history. The oldest person ever found was found in a bog. In the UK, I'm talking here, right? And the guy had his skull smashed in. There's never been a time when we've done anything but beat each other to death over differences of opinion.
Yep.
If you're facing an existential threat to somebody else, do unto others before the buggers do unto you. Right? Onward, Christian soldiers. C'est la vie. Such is life. It's never been any different. It's not going to change now.
Which I used to ask people all the time. I asked this when September the 13th happened and that, but the UTK this year, obviously it serves a purpose, but like, even if I was probably in good health, I probably wouldn't go. Like, I like it. I like to watch it. I know what it represents. And you know what I'm probably going to ask, but what will it change, really?
What change exactly?
The UTK rally.
It's raising awareness and bringing people together and giving them an outlet. And what it'll actually change is nothing. Nothing is a short answer. But a lot of these people will feel warm and feel that they've achieved and done something. And to that, it's contributed positively to a lot of miserable lives because they've got a chance to see that they're not alone.
Yeah. So it's more about the day and what it represents than, because people, like, I've heard people say, oh yeah, you do all that, but it's not going to change nothing. But in the back of my head, I'm like, but it's not really there to actually change anything. It's there about the day, the camaraderie, like it says, unite the kingdom. It's just wanting to unite, not all this hatred and diversive or whatever the blooming crap Keir Starmer comes up with. But yeah, I was very much like, yeah, like what you're saying, like people feel like they're a part of something. Like, you know, we're all struggling. We're all feeling like, yeah, 100%.
And it has raised people's morale. It's given people an idea that they're not alone. There are other people out there that feel like they do and have suffered like they have suffered. These things are important. I'm not particularly keen on some of the players, some of the actors involved in the Tommy Robinson rally, as they call it, right? No, not necessarily Robinson himself. I think the guy deserves to make a living off it. I know there's a lot of controversy around him, but I think some of the smaller bit players in it could be, and they appear to have been sidelined because they're not bringing anything positive to the game. In fact, some of them bring shame to the game, right? No.
Yeah.
It's noticeable that they weren't obvious in this rally. And I think that's a good thing. The rally itself, I think, is a good thing. Look how many people came there and stood together and realised that they had brothers and sisters that cared like they did. Morale is important, and that raised morale. So, and that is a good thing. I wouldn't knock it.
Yep. Agreed. Let me switch up for you. This is a question that I had this planned. No matter who come up, they're going to get asked it because I'm assuming I know the answer. But you know, I'm a wizard. I know everything. Not really. But did you hear Wes Streeton's speech and about apparently getting us back in the EU? Because believe you me, my toes, my eyes, my hairs, my arms, everything curled back. Like what the actual reverse Brexit. I mean, what do you think about that one, Slim?
I don't think we've ever actually left the economic union. Doesn't seem to be. We've lost some of the better privileges from it, and we're still paying into it. We're still a part of it. We're still connected to European law. The people voted for it. It's just another thing that the people voted for and didn't get. But the people have voted for a lot of things over the last 20 years and more.
Definitely.
They've never left the EU in any great measure. And they've done nothing but try to get us back into the 42% vote.
Yeah.
Whether we'll be part of it or not, I think if we don't get a right-wing government in pretty soon, they'll sell their souls into it. And Ursula von der Leyen will be making a fortune yet again as the great overlord of the EU. It's no democratic in any fashion. It's a tyranny, in fact. But I think tyranny is the way forward if the left wing get their way.
Yeah.
It seems to me, you look at the person that they're voting in Starmer, that man is a total tyrant. His word is law. He's no different from Kim Jong-un and Wang, whatever his name is this week.
Yeah.
You know, the glorious leader. I'm sure Starmer would love to be seen as the glorious leader. You know, sadly, we all know what he is. He's just a horrible, perverted little tyrant.
Yep, but they're making out Brexit was the worst thing ever. But for what it, or had it actually happened, but surely it would have been a good thing for us to be independent. Why would we want to be part of EU? Because don't we hear about WHO and all this stuff, like controlling God knows what, and we got to pay all this bloody money out, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that like they're trying to make out now that Brexit was the worst thing ever.
Well, considering we're still paying for exit fees, as they called them, I think it was, we should still be getting all the benefits for it. But we're not getting the benefits, but we're still paying into it. I mean, one of the things that actually becomes so obvious is the fact that no matter what happens, no matter who's voted in, who's voted out, or what agreements are made to get them voted in, your pockets are getting emptier and emptier because we're being taxed into poverty.
Yeah.
The promises are never kept, and the people are getting sick of it. Sick of it. But the more the people complain about it, the more the government dig in. Now they built a big fence around Parliament to protect the parliamentarians. They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect the Parliament. You have to walk the streets with the detritus of a foreign land. The same people that the foreign lands didn't want and were happy to eject. And then they came here and we pay their bills and we put them up in hotels. We care for them, give them medical attention, money and a phone. And they'll laugh at you. They'll laugh at you when they're spending your money and raping your kids. It's disgusting. The whole thing is repulsive and people are sick of it.
Yeah.
Well, like I says, do I expect to make any changes? Me, just a lost soul floating about in the ether? No, I don't. But these things come and they go. And it's the smallest of sparks that starts the biggest of fires. There will be a spark and something. Some tipping point will happen. And a great big fire will start. And that fire will be fueled by the dead bodies of millions. Years, minutes, all is it. Whether it's a civil war, whether it's a pogrom, whether it's the cattle trucks, a crusade, any of the forms of war that we're all getting dragged into it. World War III has already started officially, so what it's going to be, I don't know. But I would suggest to everybody to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. They don't have a lot to offer. I'm just somebody with an opinion in that year. I didn't set myself up as a politician. I just wanted to enjoy my life and ride my motorbike at the weekend. No, I'm barely capable of doing that.
Yeah, it's all certainly not how I envisaged life as a kid, I tell you. It's been a few turns and twists that have just surprised me, and I can't understand how many people can be so naive to the facts and the truth and be so obviously on the wrong side. That confuses me. It really does. I just can't get my head around that. It annoys me because you want to grab these people and slap them and like, you're wrong. Oh, okay. Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
I've seen the modern age people get their ideas and their politics to Facebook memes. They see 4 words on a page and it does the whole idea. Like a person looking at a headline on the front of a magazine and thinks they know the whole story. And here's a good example of that.
Oh, I used to buy a magazine called Performance Bikes, and it was lying in my car. I was picking up my mate. It was lying in my car, and he said to me, "Oh look," he picked it up. He says, "That's amazing. That 250 done 173 mile an hour." And I looked at him and I said, "This is what's wrong with everybody. They look at too little and know too much." The bike was called Project 250. They done in Performance Bikes. They were trying to build a bike that would do 250 mile an hour. They never achieved it, but they were attempting it. And after pumping thousands at the time, it was a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
They didn't achieve it. But this 250cc motorbike was in fact a 1750cc twin turbo nitrous oxide injected. It was like this massive car engine that's stuffed into a motorbike. But the headline, Project 250. So he assumed it was a 250. That's what's wrong with Facebook memes. People see a few words and think they know the whole story. But the whole story might be a lie. And I've actually fallen foul of these things myself. That's how I know. I've seen headlines that I shared with a friend, and he checked it out and says, "Where did you get that? I can't find that anywhere." And it turned out the only place it was actually shown was this one headline. But that's how lies spread. Lies spread through whispers.
Yeah, even I even do it now. I see a headline. I'm like, oh, click on it. I'm reading it. I'm like, what has that headline got to do with it? That does pee me off. There you go. That answer. There you go, Plum. But yeah, you've got to drink his coffee as well. That's what it is. It's about the caffeine and the nicotine.
I've got opinions, right? If there was other people on, I'd be silent and let them talk. But I come on to fill up some of your airtime, and that's what I'm doing. I used to be known as a public speaker, you see, when I was at work. When I was at work and they wanted somebody to speak up for the crowd, I would look around and notice that everybody had taken 2 steps back and I was left there in the middle of the floor myself. You know what I mean? People prodding me at the back and shoving me forward. And that is in fact how I got involved in being a union guy. I was too stupid to take a step back with everybody else. So I was left doing the talking. You know?
Oops. That's a good thing, though. Yeah, but you're a good talker. You're a good talker, and you seem to have a bit of intelligence and understand shit, so you can see through the shit. Do you know what I mean? That's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
I'd say it's a mixed blessing, because see those people you speak for, they're never there for you, and you need them, and that is often the case, if not always. On one instance, I went into a union meeting with a guy who was threatened with his job because he just wasn't doing it. It was huffy and puffy, and he was one of the people that had been brought into the company from a nice family. Didn't want to do the job, couldn't do the job. Spent several years in an office, and then he had to go on the shop floor and took it off. Just wasn't doing it. Lazy bugger. And I went into a meeting where they were talking about. No, he was facing the sack. He was facing the sack, and I went into a union meeting, and luckily, 2 of the people sitting at the other side of the table from me were I knew personally. And there was a lady from what they used to call personnel there, and it was human resources. And she was also quite friendly with me, right? So I sat down across to these people, and I said, listen to their bit first. I says, well, you know who I am, you know who this is. This is after they says, what has he got to say in his defence? And I said, going to let him off. And they were looking at each other behind, and they said, are you seriously bringing that up as a defence? I says, no, I'm not making any defence whatsoever. The guy is born idle, lazy, and irresponsible. But you're deliberately responsible for that. You took him out of an environment where he sat at a desk for years, and then you expected him to stand in front of a machine for 8 hours. I defy any of you people to stand up for 8 hours, let alone stand up and working for 8 hours. So it's your problem. So, gonna let him off, that's your thing. I said, well, what do you want me to say? Yeah, I can come and go, in and out, put in reports, put in complaints, raise it to a higher authority, get the lawyers involved, or we could just save an awful lot of bother for the personnel and the management and deal with it right here and right now. They told us to get out of the office and they called us back in, and because they were a bit swayed by my opinions in the oratory, they told me to get out and don't come back. Right? So I get outside and feeling I was, just like the song, I was feeling good. Da, 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 da. And then I turned around, feeling myself happy as Larry, thinking, yeah, I really worked that one. And I turned around and this chap, his face was fizzing. And I looked at him and he was growling at me like an angry dog. And I said, what's up with your face? And he says, you said I was bone idle and lazy in there. I was totally good. Despite facing the sack, they were talking about sacking him, and he got out of the office without even so much as a verbal warning. And I said that to him. I says, I cannot believe you. I got you out of that office. You have not even got a verbal warning on your record, and you're phoning out with me all this. Oh, and he went on and on and on. And I said to him, look, I don't care. I don't care if this is your last day in the factory. Don't come to me for representation again. I says, because you've cost me a lot of favours in there, whether you know or not. I said, every single one of the people sitting behind that desk, I knew personally, and I levered that against your freedom. And now you're phoning it with me. You are an ungrateful piece of shit. Don't ever talk to me again. And you know, he never did.
Wow. That's what you get for saving someone's job.
That's it. You speak up, people push you forward. I never asked to represent him. He asked me to represent him. And then he's still ungrateful. I don't even know if he's got a job now. I hope not, to be honest. Doesn't deserve it. It didn't deserve it.
No, that's it.
Deserve it now. So, Bobby, you're back.
Yeah, I think they won 3-2, didn't they?
Yeah. So I've been trying to catch up on what you guys were talking about, but
we were talking about you the whole time.
Yeah. So what were you talking about, Kia?
Well,
I take it.
The pointlessness of trying to change people's opinion. This is why I don't particularly come on and try and change people's opinion. People's opinions tend to be fixed in stone, and changing them, I've found over the years, is a pointless and tiresome exercise. I don't expect to change your opinions on politics, religion. I'm happy to talk to you about them, right? I don't expect to change them. That's why I can stay upbeat and cheery, because I'm only here having a discussion, giving my opinions, listening to yours. Unlike some people, I'm willing to listen to yours. Right?
Yeah, no, of course, man, of course. And this, I'll be honest with you, this is what's kind of missing, because we've got, like, obviously a lot of the people on the internet, on YouTube, whatever, that have like big followings on whichever sides they're on. But it's just that little bit of the middle ground, you know, that's missing, like normal people like us, right? As I'd say, take it, you know, working class normal people like us, even with, like, let's say Lubna's channel or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's that the general people on the ground and how we get on with each other and all of that kind of stuff. I think it's important, because people looking in from the outside probably thinking, shit, man, we're all at each other's throats. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's good, Will.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably true. But I think that something's got to change, because like you're saying, where is this people in the middle? I mean, I'm so open-minded. Yes, I've got opinions, I've got views, but I'm willing to change them after talking to people if that's the case. If someone doesn't put up a strong case, then my opinion or view will stand. But at least I'm open-minded enough to listen and think, hang on, I'm wrong, and I'm willing to admit it. Or they say something and I'm like, hang on, no, I'm sticking to what I'm saying. I'm right. I know you're wrong. So
that's because you follow no fucking dogma.
I think, I suppose, what I mean by the middle ground is, I think what I mean by the middle ground, I think, suppose, is the better word for it is kind of like solutions. After hearing what people have got to say, and then obviously trying to come up with solutions based on that. Do you see what I mean? So whatever the issue is, regardless, I don't know. We could pick out anything, in this.
Do you think there are any solutions?
Yeah,
While you were away, I gave an opinion on that, right? And my opinion was there are no solutions. We'll just go smashing each other's skulls in until there's 2 people left on the planet, and we'll be bashing each other on the skull, right?
Oh man. So anyway, what else could we talk? Oh yeah, look, like the EU thing happened as well. What was that? I don't even know that guy. He said, "Yeah, I'll take us back into the EU." Is it the new Labour guy? The guy playing?
Yeah, Wes Streeton. I mentioned him earlier.
God.
What a prat
yeah, I thought you did. Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Yeah, do you see what I mean? These guys, bro, like, this is the thing. You see, I think even with the EU, I think people forget, like, the EU stuff was murmuring from like just before 2010. I remember, Nigel and that in the EU at that time, and people didn't, think too much what was going on. They were just like cussing Nigel and that a bit, like, oh, look at this idiot, what he's doing, and embarrassing us on the world stage type of, angle. That's what the media were doing at that point. And then obviously as that started gathering steam from that point onwards, they're all talking about, the EU, whether we should be in it or out it. And then, as you guys remember, like David Cameron and Clegg were in power at that time. So this was going on from back then, before then. Do you see what I mean? And then obviously eventually Cameron gave us the vote, right? And what my point is, if you remember how much we got stuck just on one point for years on end, like with the EU, that the whole news coverage, and that was just about the EU. There was nothing else in the news, for years. And then when the first thing happened, when Cameron gave us the vote, and it's like, oh, he's giving us the vote. Like, do you know what I mean? He's a bad man, he's a good man, like, do you know what I mean? Or whatever, So then the vote happened. And then when the vote happened, for that, and then obviously the Brexit vote happened by 2016. Then after that happened, they were like, oh, what is it, Article 42 or whatever, that to push some button or whatever it was to process it. And they're like, oh, this Article 42, whatever it is, I can't remember what number it is, 54 or 69 or whatever it is, right? They said that, we're going to process it the next day after the Brexit vote was done, the EU vote. And then they say, we don't know when we're going to process it. We'll process it in a month.
Wanted a revote.
Yeah, did you see they were doing all this? People have forgotten. And then they were like, okay, we're going to push that button. Then that Gina Miller, she took up the news for a whole year on her own, trying to stop this Brexit thing, if you guys remember that. And then there was that whole thing about the cabinet people getting together and having to vote, and then all of that kind of stuff. And then we got that point where we got like the half-assed Brexit, if that makes sense. I think you'll probably gather what I'm talking about. When we had that thing, and then that one person voted that kind of put it in favor of making it a bit more of a watered down Brexit. So I remember all that was going on.
The EU was meant to be a trading bloc where we had free trade with each other. For day one, they gave themselves more and more power, and it was given to them. I have no understanding why they became this powerhouse they became. They're never supposed to have had that.
I mean, to be honest, I found this EU subject really interesting. Like, I've never really massively been into politics, but one or two things that's got me interested. And obviously, like, when people picked on Nigel and stuff, some of it was kind of funny and that, just some of the stuff that would come out and that it'd be a bit humorous and that as well, when it, how it goes, isn't it, when the media and that is starting on someone. So so I just thought, okay, this EU thing, like, to be honest, there's a lot of good in the EU, right? And a lot of good. Let's say, for example, for the sake of European or English European, or European white people, there's a lot of positives in it. Do you know what I mean? So if you guys wanted freedom of movement between here, Spain, Italy, this, that, little, you all know this stuff anyway. But with the EU, a lot of the positives in the EU, what my issue was with the EU, we weren't getting here. This is what my problem was. And a lot of people didn't really understand that. So what I mean by that, let's say, for example, we were part of the EU and we're part of the mainland, right? You can do things in the EU, like you could drive around different countries, get a coach, bus, whatever, right? And just travel through borders very easily and very cheaply for a couple of euro or whatever. And then you can take advantage of produce and things in neighboring countries and stuff, like whether it's cheap fuel, cheap wine, whatever it is you're into, right? Now, we can't access any of that because we still have to pay for shipping and shipping stuff, if that makes sense, like because of the sea and all this, you know what I mean? And for us to leave this land, we have to always buy a ticket. So we have to buy a plane ticket, a ferry ticket, or whatever, Eurotunnel ticket. It's not free for us to just cross the border. We can't just cross over by foot, you see? So people don't realize that that's a massive negative that we don't. If we're part of the mainland, there's a lot of positives to be had from it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not, we can't get any of the discounts. So, we could go and get half price fuel from a neighboring country, and have a week, get the lads, jump in the car on a Friday. Yeah, let's all three of us, 3 cars, drive down, get the half price petrol, go and have a donut and a coffee and come back, kind of thing. That sounds quite fun to me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But we can't do stuff like that here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you see, so that stuff like that, then I start seeing it rearing its head in different facets of my life. For example, when I'm in work, I had this manager that kept bringing up the EU, right? And then he was like, "Oh, I mean, if you don't like the job, if you don't want to do the job, I'll get someone else in." And I'd be like, "Oh, that's a bit hard." And then it turned into, "Yeah, I'm going to get someone else in from the EU, yeah." And I guess, what does that mean? Why are you saying that for? I didn't even know what the EU was then. Do you see what I mean? And I thought that's a bit bizarre. And I said to him, like, "Oh, guys, by the way, I thought he kind of was trying to say that, like trying to indicate something that maybe he thought as a foreign-born Pakistani or something." And it goes, his name was Paul. And I goes, "Paul, listen now, I'm British-born, man." And he's like, "Oh yeah, are you?" I guess, "Yeah, I was born in Luton." Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not from Pakistan or anything. That's what you're thinking. Like,
I'm sorry, but Becky, is it because I is black?
yeah, exactly. I was thinking EU. I was confused. I was thinking, I guess, right. I guess, but we're in the UK though, so we follow UK law on that, don't we? He goes, "Oh yeah, mate, you want to check? We're in the EU now, and this and that." And I was thinking, what does that mean? So that basically meant, which I understood now, I was 26 then, was that our working rights here were weaker than what we had before. So before, when I got a job, after 6 months, they'd give you a contract. Unless you did something really disastrously stupid after the 6 months, like a red line flipping thing, like stealing something or hitting someone or swearing at someone, yeah, these kind of red line type of things you can get sacked for, right? Unless it's something like that, you're all right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But under the EU, they've got this rule where you work for up to 2 years and they can hire and fire you without reason. So then, all these things are rearing their head. So then I was finding that I was getting jobs and literally a year and 11 months in, we don't need you anymore. Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So then I realized,
contracts,
yeah, and I'm thinking, what? Right. And I'm thinking, why does stuff like this keep happening? Then obviously, I'm not a politician or anything. I don't look into the laws and that to this extent. Like yourself, Wizard, I made a comment earlier about you being an artist. I'm a graphic designer and an artist as well. I haven't flipping drawn anything for years, but I got the qualifications for it. Bugger all, it got me far in any jobs or anything. But obviously, like, I'm more of an artistic, creative type of guy. I like cars. I like a bit of engineering, electronic wiring, car audio, sound systems, music, films. Like I'm kind of more this type of creative kind of guy. So I don't really want to look into too much politics and the laws and that. That's not really really what I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? So, and then all of a sudden finding myself looking into these working laws and
don't you think we all get dragged into that though, with the changes that went on?
Yeah. And then what happens? Yeah, then the media and the politicians think, "Oh, look at these stupid guys getting involved over the EU and that." And do you see what I mean? Like, obviously, like normal people and that, they're all trying to talk about politics and the EU and that, and they're all plebs and commoners and all of that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, and they don't realize we're the ones it affects on the ground. So we're the ones with the bastard bosses when no one else is in the room talking crap to us and threatening us in our jobs. And we've got no witnesses. Do you know what I mean? Right? It's us. It happens. So it doesn't happen to
Oh, I
them
know what you
in their
mean.
cushy job. It don't happen to them. Do you see what I mean?
But-
And then if you say something as a working class man, as you know, we've grown up here in that 80s guys and this and that. Oh, you just gotta have a stiff upper lip, get along, get on with it. That's how it is. And you're thinking, what? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
I can assure you, after working in a factory for about 35 years, I do know
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
works.
You were saying. Yeah, go on.
We are no more than the fodder. I mean, they call you chattel, right? It's all goods and chattel. Chattel was service. You sell your service to a company, you're no more than. I mean, they took away the personnel because that personalised it and made you a human resource. Resources can be bought and sold. And that's what you are.
Mm.
You're a resource that they take advantage of and then drop off at the end of the day. They don't need to look after you. They don't need to care for you. Dedication to a company is now a thing that is gone by the wayside. I worked for a company that used to be, at one time, known for its dedication to its people, for their care. They had health care. They actually had legal cover if you had legal problems. And bit by bit, all these rights and privileges were sold out for under you. But they never increased your wages. They took these things away because they were seen as a hidden cost, right? But it was to us a hidden benefit. They took these things away. Social and recreational clubs. They took away healthcare. When I was an apprentice, for instance, we had an on-site doctor. Now, there was about 9,000 people who worked for the company I worked for when I was in our site, when I was a youth. And if you went in the morning, you didn't have to make an appointment to go and see your own doctor. You could go into work in the morning and tell them you weren't feeling well, and you could go and see the on-site doctor. And he could write you prescriptions, give you a checkup, and say, oh, we'll send you to the hospital and such like. I mean, he was a full doctor. And that meant you weren't travelling away. So they get the benefit that you weren't away travelling an hour there and an hour back, or the rest of it. And as the numbers went down in the factory, you lost all these privileges, which weren't privileges, they were benefits that had been argued with the unions over the years. So you lost these things bit by bit. But you never got it back on your wages. And I don't see that these benefits should have been given up so lightly. We're all becoming less and less important to the companies we work for. And you're right. Now that we're doing a 0 hours contract, you sign on for a company that no matter how long they work there, you show up in the morning and say, you finish at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
right?
Man. Yeah.
That's not right. Far from living better lives. I think everybody's in agreement. We're not living better lives when we're in the 80s or 90s. We're all poorer. We're living harsher in a harsher environment. We've got less privileges and rights. If I try and see my doctor, no, I'll show you. I've had a lot of problems lately, right? I can say anything I want on here. I'll probably not have to face some music for it, right? I could come on and just be as racist and as horrible as I want, because look at the shape of me. I'll probably not be around long enough to face a judge. I can say anything. We're living harsher, crueler lives where our environment is horrible. Well, now we've moved on to LED lights to save 90% of our energy, and we still can't afford to switch them on. Right? There's LED, look, LED, right? I've had it's cost me money to come on to the whizzes because I've had to put my blinds down to improve the lighting and switch an LED light on. Now we can't even afford to switch the LED lights on. We've got the most expensive energy in the planet. They want to kid you on and tell you to go green. get rid of all the nuclear programs, get rid of all the coal-fired power stations. I went to school with a boy that invented a process that is patented that turns the output for coal-fired power stations into a crystal, plasterboard, the same crystal as plasterboard. They process it, and the air, the gas coming out of a coal-fired power station is actually cleaner than the air that goes into it because of this filtration system, right? And they want to kid you on that all these things are for your betterment. I'm not paying a fortune for tax so that the air is cleaner. The air isn't cleaner because they've shipped it all to China and India, and the Indians are now all getting poisoned with all the toxins. The Chinese, they're living in the most toxic place in the whole planet. All they've done is lay after the world so that, we might not be. You know what the difference is? We're not putting out a factory. In fact, they've been cleaner. If you're shipping using heavy fuel oil all the way from China to Britain, every one of your goods, how is that clean? Because you've got all the filth they manufacture for unregulated industry in these countries. The lead, the heavy metals such as mercury and such like getting pumped into the water table, all the atmospheric conditions, the unfiltered air that's going into the air in China and India. The air is so bad that when they had the Olympics, they couldn't run in certain days because the runners and the athletes couldn't breathe. We now have had, the rigs have been mentioned, the oil rigs. We've had the North Sea shut down. We buy it for Norway at twice the price. We've had our nuclear power stations shut down because they needed replenishment. And in fact, I was on one of these the other night talking. And see if you look at it purely for an overview. They've shut down the power stations. They've shut down the nuclear power stations. The landware infrastructure, 40 bits for water's filthy. The supply chains, the roads, even are collapsing. It'd be easy to make a case that they're letting it run down because they know there's going to be a civil disruption here and the whole country's going to be obliterated. Now, see if I've got an old car that's got an oil leak and it's blowing smoke out the back and it's needing 4 new tyres. You don't spend any money on it, right? You keep running it, you keep topping up the oil until the engine fails and then you get it rolled into a scrapyard. I think that's the situation Britain's in at the moment.
Slim, look, what you're saying, I'm living it right now. I'm in one. Do you know what I mean? I'll keep the old banger, I'll keep the old banger, keep it running. It's a lot more environmentally friendly when you actually look at, because this is the thing, look, you're talking about cars and oil and resources and power. Let's go in this direction for a bit. And the environment, like diesel has always been a dirty fuel. The people at top and the engineers and the people that run these car brands, right? They know it's a dirty fuel, right? But they sold that to us as a clean fuel solution with their zero emissions marketing campaign. If you guys remember, back then, 2010 or whatever, with the green flipping leaf thing and the cartoon and that they had on TV. So they knew that was a dirty fuel. If they actually had an intention of cleaning up the air, because you were talking about cleaning up the air and making the environment actually nicer and stuff, right? What they should have really done, they should have restricted diesel cars, right? And they should have upped their intake of hybrid cars from then, because they're way more cleaner. These Priuses and that Japanese hybrid cars, you go anywhere near them, around them, they don't smell funny or anything, if that makes sense. They don't leave any nasty anything. They just smell cleaner now if you go around one. But obviously all these diesel cars, even the new one, you see them on the road. Look, I live right in slap bang middle of London, and it's never been more smellier than it has been now, if that makes sense. It just constantly stinks everywhere. I don't even like going out. Half the time I sound like a right old fucking snob, right? I don't even like going out half the time, because it stinks just bad.
Just to push back on that a wee bit, Bobby. See, electric cars are cleaner for the end user.
Yeah. In the end, obviously, it would be obviously once they optimize the technology, get it to the they got to the 500 miles range now. I think when they get to 1,000-mile range, that'll be fine, because then we will find, obviously going to start off topic, but if we have that increased amount of battery capacity, people won't even need the chargers.
Just before you move on,
go along.
Before you move along, as I said, they're cleaner for the end user. But see, for the child slaving in
Yeah.
a cobalt mine in India or Africa, sorry. It's no
Of
cleaner
course.
for them. The processing involved in creation of these
100%.
lithium-ion batteries is filthy. The plastics that they manufacture.
Yeah.
You're right. Keep your old car as long as you
Yeah.
can and run it as long as you can. We're all being fooled that electric
Yeah,
cars
yeah.
are cleaner. It's no cleaner because they're taking and scrapping good internal combustions and they're getting rid of them and replacing them. They're actually increasing the amount of electric cars when electric cars don't have a long life. 10 years.
This is
I mean,
the issue.
I know that I could go out now and buy a Porsche, a 10-year-old Porsche electric car for next to nothing. And in fact, there's people who would pay you to take it away.
Now, this is the issue. You see, like with like a electric car, it's similar to like obviously like a phone, right? So you could have like two brand new iPhones there, right? And let's say that both the iPhones are 2 years old. One could have been owned by like an older fella or lady, yeah, who uses the phone here and there and kept the phone in good condition, right? And then the next person could be a younger guy that's playing games on it constantly, right? Constantly playing games on it. By the 2 years are up or 3 years are up of the contract, right? And they want to trade the phone in, and both the phones look brand new still, and none of them got scratches and that on it, and you want to trade them in. As the second person that buys it, you won't know which person has been the casual user that's not hammered the battery and the internal processor, or which one's been the hardcore user that's been playing the games on full speed all day, every day, and now is trading the phone in after 2 or 3 years because it's hammered it every day playing all the latest 3D games, right? And then, you know, now it's going to trade it in. But obviously when you charge these phones, you know, because there's some relative high levels of qualities to them, the perfect phone, which has been barely used by a casual user, and the gaming phone, when you charge them both 100%, they're both going to say 100%. You only know after about half an hour's use if one of them's got, you know, an hour's worth of use if one of them's got a bit of a dodgy battery. Same thing's happening with cars, right? So 2-3 years, like you're saying, down the road, cars like batteries and that, they kind of wear down, but they think they got technology that's going to kind of avoid all that with all this heating and cooling and all this stuff they're putting in, and to do some degree it is kind of working. They are moving at like incredible pace with the battery technology, especially in China.
The
So
battery technology
probably
is moving forward, but every car on the planet currently uses a lithium ion.
Yeah. Lithium-ion batteries, from what I know about them, they're supposed to be a little bit worse in the winter than a NiCad battery.
They need to be warmed up before they flow current, aye.
Yeah. I think this BYD Blade battery is kind of like the better one or the best ones at the moment, from all things considered.
Those batteries are all made in the same factories in China. The externals of the batteries, I know they're talking about the silver battery technology and such like that's coming on the stream, but there's a hydrogen power cell technology that they'll develop. That if that comes to pass, I would never own anything but a hydrogen power cell battery. That it's basically it's like a small nuclear reactor in your car, the amount of power it produces. Right. But currently, we're all being fooled by how clean an electric car is because, as I said, the end user doesn't have an exhaust coming out the back. But it's no clean when you've scrapped off a decent car and replaced it with something where even the mining of it is polluting all valleys and such like in places like Africa for the rare earth metals, for the
for me, yeah, I think,
for chromium,
I think
all the metals that go into them.
I think they kind of like did well and they kind of perfected it in the early 2000s with the Euro 4 standards. I thought that was as high as you kind of really need to go, like with petrol. But the thing is, they kind of done something that's slightly manipulated. Obviously, we've got 5 and 6 now, and then we've got diesel. But even, like I said, even with the diesel cars, even in the newer ones, they still leave loads of funny smells everywhere around London, if that makes sense. It, you know, it doesn't even, you know, even though the newer diesel is supposed to be a lot cleaner, they're a lot more unreliable because they're trying to make them clean and they're stressing the engines out. They just still, they're not solving the smell problem anyway, and the fumes and the black smoke problem from what I'm seeing coming out of the cars. That's not
produce a lot of smoke, But the modern
Yeah,
diesels with the AdBlue in it,
that's
that's
what it is,
urea. They put urea in it to clean up the exhaust. The catalysts
mate.
themselves, the mining of
Yeah.
the rare earth metals for these things and the precious metals are where this is what I'm saying. It looks better for the end user, but for other people doing that supply chain, supplying the materials, as I said, there's factories in India, for instance, and in China, where people are living horrible, filthy existences and shorten their lifespan to create these for you. And by you, I mean us, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen them.
We
Seen
think,
the videos.
we think we're doing well at it, but they're not. And if you're a small child scraping away at the dirt somewhere in Africa, I mean, it's like, there's a metal that comes from a mineral called Colerex tantalum, right? It's called niobium. It goes into all sorts of materials in a car. They have to use it for precipitation hardening, nickel alloys and such like. But yet, the kids that are mining this out, the lifespan's about 35 years. On a global sense, they've made it worse, they've not made it better.
Yeah, look, Slim, the only thing they could have done, look, even with Afghanistan, a lot of the stuff came from the ground there as well, yeah? But I think probably the better thing that could have happened was if they were going to do that, if they really wanted to mine this type of, dangerous materials, right? They could have done it where they tried to make it as reasonable and health risk, minimize the health risk with it and stuff, right? If they, for example, I don't know how they can do it. I'm not no flipping chemical weapons expert, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. But I mean, like in terms of making factories there and maybe even making like the battery factories near where the batteries are found in Africa or wherever these countries are, Afghanistan. Do you see what I mean? So the local people there can maybe work there and not cause as much damage to themselves and get obviously paid more fairly in that sense as well, if that makes sense.
The problem with doing that in Africa is the
and then
corruption
get
in the
access to
place.
these cards and then get access to these cards. You said about the end user, and then to allow them to have access to the product at the end as well, like rather than just the raw material side of it. And this would probably be a healthier way. But look, I'm not obviously can't deny that it's done in a really filthy way, this mining for materials. But even here, look, they talk about trying to get power and resources in this country with that drilling and all that, right? And I think it's probably a good idea because, like, how else are they going to produce wealth and jobs in this country if they don't do stuff like that?
Well, we have no
if that makes sense.
manufacturing now.
You're Scottish,
see,
you probably
talk
know a little
about
bit more about
Africans,
that
actually,
kind
for a
of stuff.
second. The big problem with Africa is Africans. This is where we have to see, instead of saying, oh, the poor people, we're mistreating them. I think we have to actually open it up and say, there are improvements in certain places in Africa. A young guy's taken over one of them and gave them roads and gave them infrastructure and gave them toilets. But these people have to admit that their problem is themselves. Industry don't go to Africa for the same reason that South Africa has fallen to bits. If you look up on the internet any street in Africa and look at how it's degraded over the last 20 years to Mr. Mandela get let out of jail, it's shocking.
Right, of course.
Africa's a hellhole.
Yeah, so honestly, truthfully, then this is obviously the other side of the coin, and then that then comes to the people using their brains, regardless of who they are, and thinking that, look, there's 10 of us here, there's 5 of us here. Let's come together and do something useful together. I don't see enough of that. So, for example, with some of these countries, obviously some of them are like religious, like Christian religious, Muslim religious, whatever. So they'll do their gatherings, religious gatherings, and get 10 in a room, 20, 50, 100 in a room, right, for those things, right? But then really they won't come together to help each other, or, in that particular, for example, if you, like you said, look, you're talking about slavery, labor, jobs, all this, yeah? Right? So if you don't have money, like, you still have manpower, if that makes sense. That's what I'm getting at, Slim, right? So they got manpower, they got millions and millions and millions of people, right? So their currency is manpower, right? But they don't put it to use for themselves. like if I was living in a village, I'd be like, look, let's 5 of us get together, build a bunch of wooden houses. It might take us 2-3 years to do it, 5 of us, yeah, but let's make 5 houses on this road for us, 1 each, and we help each other. We build all these houses and that, and by the end of the 3 years or whatever's up, they'll all be finished. Do you see what I mean?
Well, I see
Which would
what you
be,
mean.
do you see what I mean? Like
But the
basic
problem with
solutions
these
like that. But
people- the problem with these people is they have manpower, but they also have a mindset. And I'm going to stick to Africa for a second. Their mindset is rip it down and sell it. They don't seem to. I'd like to be honest, and it's probably going to be offensive to anybody that's going to hear this from Africa. They've been around for like 100,000 years as a modern human, right? And they have invented nothing but the stick in all that time, right? They are still scratching in the dirt. They're mining with tools made in the West. It's shocking that no matter where they are, and every example you can find, people can say what they want about the Boers in South Africa, for instance. But South Africa was a jewel in the whole of Africa. It was a modern country with skyscrapers, with roads, with industry, with rules, regulations, laws, sanitary, and everything. The Africans are taking it over. And it doesn't take 10 minutes to look on the internet, look on any main street in Africa and see what the Africans themselves have done to the place. They have taken everything that was built and destroyed it. That's the mindset in Africa. You can't change their mindset. In fact, I have a cunning plan. I say that all the Brits start building ships and we go to Liberia and we kick the arse of all these silly Liberian types. You know, General Barbecue and his lot. Go there, go organised, wipe the buggers out, wipe them out, I say, and take it over and live in a tropical paradise. Because we deserve better.
What else is popping? What else we got then? And any other subjects?
I'm happy to talk about any subject.
Stick to cars.
Let me switch.
Yeah,
My
no?
mic wasn't even on. That was like
We're sticking to cars, or we wanna
like talking to myself. I was making a brew, everyone. They're saying like I fainted or I was under the sofa crying. I'm under the desk, under the sofa. But we're going 2 hours, 10 minutes already. Like I don't know where the time goes.
Yeah, I know. Jump in it.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I said, oh, I've got Bobby and Slim up. I'll call you all by name to her. She probably knows you. I'm like, oh, we're go for like 2 hours today. It'd be good and all that. We've got a good chinwag going. They're talking in my ear as I'm making my brew and that. And I come up here and it's gone 2 hours. I'm like, what? When?
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's only half an hour gone when it's Slim when you come up. Like,
I can talk.
But yeah, no, because I was aiming for 2 hours because I find people don't watch stuff if it's too long, do they? But it's alright when it's live. It's when it's sort of finished and then people see a video for 6 hours. They're like, oh, I ain't sitting watching that. Like I'm an idiot. I normally watch the first half of videos like that. I watch it on 1.5 times. I'll speed it all up, so all I don't mind that. But yeah, we'll have to work out like what sort of time we'll have to do on Sundays because you know I've got no time restrictions, but whether we sort of go 1 till 3 or 1 till 4, because I'll put it in the thumbnail and I'd actually put like a 3 hour or 2 hour or 4 hour chat or whatever, because then people will know what they're getting and that would invite people in to talk. But it's up to you guys. I mean, we go 2 hours, 8 minutes. I mean, what do you want to do? Go for like 2.5 hours, or you're done, or you want to eat?
I'm kind of done for ideas unless we can think of something else.
No, You can't say that because we're going to end up talking about Islam, and everyone in the chat is going to start on Bob again. So,
Oh man. No. What I was gonna, the only thing I was gonna say was like it would be. I suppose. I mean, I'd probably prefer something after 3 or 4, because all the football's always on in the daytime.
yeah, it is, isn't it?
On
Yeah.
a Saturday, Sunday.
It's, I know we got women's Six Nations, England v France. Winner takes all today at 4:45. I'm watching that. I love the women's rugby, mate. England are quality.
Wow. I've never seen a rugby game, women's one. Right?
Oh, mate.
Okay. It's on, yeah.
Some of the women are brilliant, mate. They're like the men. They're
Yeah.
like tanks. They love go flying in. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, mate. I wouldn't want to be tackled by her. You know what I mean?
Jeez. No, I did watch a bit of the football. That was kind of like fun at times, and that with all the, we were doing quite well in that as well. I suppose.
Being a Spurs fan, I'm not too impressed at the moment. I don't know if I want to see the scores and that. I'm hoping just West Ham lose today against Newcastle, and then if we could beat Chelsea, that's 5 points. 1 game left. That's it. We're safe. But it ain't gonna happen, is it?
Mm-hmm. But Chelsea aren't doing that great anyway, so you do have chance.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're going to be really gutted and they're still crying about the FA Cup when we play them on Tuesday. That'd be handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Celtic
they won that. That'd have
Glasgow
been good
yesterday.
for them.
There was a riot because of it.
I was happy Celtic won. I wanted Celtic to win. I've got a Celtic top somewhere. That's my Scottish team, Celtic.
Seeing as we're on football, and what do you guys think? Arsenal going to finish it?
I have no
I
idea.
think so. I think they
Yeah,
are.
pretty much. Yeah.
Even
Unless
as
they
a
do a
Spurs
major
fan,
mess up.
Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good, right? Well, it's like 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah, right. Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Wrap it
I
up
want to
then.
do some painting before the. I'm on a roll with me painting at the moment as well, so crack on with that for an hour before I watch the rugby.
Sounds good.
But it's all good. But yeah, what we're doing every single Sunday, 1 o'clock. They will be calling shows now. So, and Thursdays at 7, they're either a review and a video, like me and Jake or whatever, talk for a video, and people would come up and have their say as well, or that'd be a call in as well. Because I think during the week now and again, having a call in at 7 o'clock's good for the times. And like you, Bobby, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do Thursday 7, and then I can watch me football on the weekend. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
Thursday
Thursday sounds good to me as well. Thursday is usually my favorite day of the week as well. I'm more positive on a Thursday for some reason.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, guys, I'm gonna exit out then.
Yeah, all right, mate. No worries. Yeah, keep an eye because,
Goodbye.
like I say, it'll be Thursday, it'll be a review or a call-in show. So just keep an eye, mate. And if not, Sunday's definitely a call-in
always
show.
do.
Right? Happy days. You
All
take
right,
it
mate.
easy, mate. Stay
You
safe.
too. All right, good weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
said in respect.
Oops.
Goodbye, mate. He hit the wrong button, like he does. So yeah, Man United's great to win, like they do. What can I say? But yeah, it's all been good. It's all been good. But I've enjoyed that, Slim. I've been dying for it just to be meeting you, and it was at last. Happy days. I actually enjoyed it. So I don't care whether you enjoyed it or not, mate. I did.
I had a nice time. Got a chance to waffle.
It's just no, but you know, to me, like you come across like more intelligent than me, so I can listen and learn. That's what I love talking to people. So I get educated. So happy days.
Every day's a school day.
And that's the only
You have a
spoke on bloke.
wonderful day, Wiz.
Happy days. Yeah,
Thank you.
keep it. Like I said to Bobby, Thursday, if not Thursday, definitely Sunday. So if you're around next Sunday, mate, get your ass up here. Happy days.
All
Cheers,
right.
Slim. Appreciate it, mate.
Take care.
Respect. Love you, man. Take it easy. Oh, I do like him. I do like Slim. I've known him for so long on internet. But yeah, it's all good. I hope you enjoyed that wee little chat, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I like. Well, obviously, over time, hopefully we'll get more people calling in. But I mean, Slim and I, we had a good conversation. Bobby, he's an open, honest type of guy. Love it. So yeah, it's good to see what other people say, what other people think. I enjoy it. So yeah, but what's today? Sunday. So I'm back tomorrow then, Monday at 1 p.m. See what's going on in the news. I'm keeping on United Kingdom and the arrests and whatnot. So we're keeping it all going. So keep it all up to date and keep the news flying in. So thank you very much to every single one of you for watching. Thank you, Olga, Helen, Plumjacks, Gaelic, Slim, Triggered. I'm going for them all. Go for all the names. New Tony. I've not seen Tony here before, so welcome, Tony. Thank you for subscribing and getting in on the chat. Appreciate it. It's all good. We're all big Wizard family. Oh, Phil joins now. Look, we're finished now, mate. You're watching the football, but it's all good. But I'm back tomorrow, 1 p.m., ladies and gents. Don't miss it. Otherwise, I'm going to turn you into a toad. But like I say, at the end of every single blooming live stream and video, that is the Wizard's words.